When my sister called my car embarrassing in front of 50 guests, I didn't flinch. I'd been dismissed by her my whole life, first for the way I loved, then for the way I lived. But that night, when the valet rushed over, breathless, calling my name with a reverence she'd never used once in 30 years, her laughter died in her throat. I'm Arabella Winslow, and that was the moment everything they thought they knew about me burned to ash. The call came while I was still in the lab, the hum of machinery filling the space like a low heartbeat. My mother's voice cut through it, sharp, efficient, rehearsed. Charlotte just bought a house at Lake Travis. Big, beautiful. The housewarming is Saturday. You'll come, won't you? Family should stay connected. I didn't answer right away. The silence stretched long enough for her to start filling it with nervous chatter. Something about the new kitchen, the neighbors, the catering. I finally said, "I'll be there," and heard the sigh of relief in her voice, the kind that comes when you've just prevented embarrassment, not when you've spoken to your child. That night, I stood before my open closet, the olive shirt, the old jeans, nothing glossy, nothing meant for show. My fingers brushed the silver wedding band that never left my hand. It had dulled over time, but so had the ache. Daniel's accident had taken more than a husband. It took the version of me that once believed love could anchor a life. What remained was work, and a quiet kind of purpose that no one else seemed to understand. The soft blue light from my laptop flickered on the wall as I opened my inbox. Subject: Congratulations, U.S. Department of Energy Grant Phase CO. Approval. A slow smile tugged at my mouth. $12 million in federal funding. Not bad for the experiment my family never believed in. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the glowing logo on the prototype beside me. Solera, the light we built to outlast the dark. When I shut down the computer, a message blinked on my phone from my co-founder. Press release goes live Monday. Everything ready? I typed back. Wait until after Saturday. I've got a family performance to attend first. The solar panel above me buzzed softly, its reflection spreading across the metal floor, steady, patient, waiting to be seen. Saturday morning broke clear and bright, the kind of sun that made even cracked asphalt look forgiving. The highway curved west toward Lake Travis, the Jeep's hood shimmering under the light. Dust drifted up behind me, soft as smoke. Every mile I drove pulled me further from the life I'd built on quiet purpose, and closer to the world that had already written me off. The radio hummed. A local anchor announced a feature about Texas leading the clean energy revolution. I smiled without meaning to. They don't even know it's me they're talking about. The song changed, and memory slipped in through the open window. Daniel's laugh echoing across the red desert of New Mexico. The first solar panel balanced between us, the sun beating down. If sunlight's strong enough to burn, he'd said, brushing dust from my cheek. It's strong enough to save. The bridge rose ahead, wind tearing through the cabin. For a moment, it sounded like his voice again. Then only the hum of tires on steel. At a small gas station outside the city, I saw a familiar figure, Gregory Lang, the investor I'd met in Washington. Arabella Winslow, I can't believe it's you, he said. Heading to a family thing, I answered. So am I. My friend Charlotte Langford's throwing a housewarming out there. My grip on the steering wheel tightened. What are the odds? I murmured. He asked if I was still with Solara. Sometimes, I said, sliding my card to the clerk. Sometimes I just let it grow on its own. He studied me for a beat too long, as if hearing what I hadn't said. By the time I reached the gated neighborhood, the sun had sharpened to white. The guard scanned his clipboard. Mrs. Winslow? Mrs. Langford asked that we park the Jeep in the back service lot. I smiled. Perfect. I belong with the staff today. Luxury SUVs gleamed along the circular drive, each one a mirror reflecting someone's need to be seen. As I crossed the foyer, laughter spilled from inside. A guest asked, "Where'd you have them park your sister's car?" Far away, Charlotte answered, laughing. Wouldn't want it ruining the pictures. I didn't look back. Frames always let a little light through. I thought, Charlotte's house looked airbrushed. White walls, glass railings, lavender candles burning in perfect symmetry. She floated toward me in a cream silk dress, her hand on her husband's arm, her smile too polished to crack. You made it, she said brightly. I was worried GPS doesn't recognize upscale neighborhoods. Our mother approached next, smoothing invisible wrinkles from my sleeve. No dress? She whispered. People here like to see effort. I'm comfortable, I said. Inside, conversations glittered with numbers, stock tips, Aspen rentals, the newest Tesla models. Charlotte stood in the center, glowing under the chandelier. We just wanted a space that feels like home, she announced. Hard work finally pays off. A blonde woman beside her tilted her head. And what about your sister? Charlotte's smile didn't falter. She dabbles in little eco-projects. Not much money in it, but she's passionate. The group nodded politely, the kind of politeness that stings worse than mockery. I sipped my wine and watched the lake catch the dying light. The only thing in the room that wasn't pretending. In the kitchen. I stopped short. My mother's voice drifted through the hum of conversation. Charlotte's a natural hostess, she told an aunt. Her sister's clever but impractical. A woman needs stability. The words landed clean and precise, like pins to a map. I set my glass down without sound. Back in the hallway, Charlotte slipped beside me. I'm glad you came, she murmured. Just, maybe don't bring up Solara tonight. People here prefer real stories to pipe dreams. I met her gaze. Don't worry, I never dream. I build. Her smile twitched. Too quick, too thin. And for the first time, I saw uncertainty beneath the gloss. As the music swelled, I looked around the immaculate room. The laughter, the clinking glasses, the curated warmth. It was all theater, candlelit and hollow. This wasn't a home. It was a stage, and everyone here was performing their part. The house smelled of wine and white roses. Candles flickered along a long table draped in linen, their light trembling like it knew what was coming. I sat at the far end, close enough to be polite, far enough to be forgotten. Charlotte stood, radiant in red, glass raised high. Thank you all for being here. After years of hard work, we finally have a true home. Applause rippled. Then she smiled sweetly. And of course, my sister, Arabella, who taught me that failure can build character. Laughter, thin and sharp. A man leaned toward me. NASA, right? What do you do now? I run a company, I said. Oh, one of those little green projects? Something like that. Charlotte's laugh cut through. She's passionate about her small ventures, doesn't make much, but she believes in ideals. The word ideals sounded like delusions. Someone joked about retirement plans. Charlotte quipped, My sister trusts the universe with her finances. More laughter. I just sipped my water, tasting bitterness. Later, a waiter whispered, Ms. Winslow, are you the Solara founder? Co-founder, I said softly. Keep it between us. His quiet awe was the only real respect all evening. When Charlotte offered me a job at her firm to help with communication, I smiled. Thanks, I already run enough to feed a few companies. Her friends missed the meaning, but Gregory Lang didn't. I met his eyes across the table and thought, they think silence means weakness. It's just patience. After dinner, Charlotte led everyone outside. Jazz played. Wine sparkled. She gestured to a display board stamped Langfield Energy. This is our solar project. We're proud to back innovation, she said. My heart stilled. It was my design, Daniel's and mine. Every line, stolen. Beautiful work, I murmured. Thank you, she said brightly. We believe in green futures. Gregory studied the board. Strange. I saw this at a Washington conference. Charlotte laughed lightly. My sister collects old schematics. I smiled. Right. I wanted her to see what integrity looks like. Wind lifted the corner of the board, peeling it open. Prototype Helios Array, Solara Innovations. Silence. Gregory's gaze met mine. Charlotte's froze. I turned away, whispering to myself. They built this party on stolen light. Let's see how long it shines. The lake shimmered under the late-night lights, laughter fading into the wind. I sat at the railing, glass in hand, watching my reflection tremble on the water when Gregory Lang appeared behind me. Still keeping it quiet? He asked. Keeping what quiet? That you're the one who founded Solara. I smiled faintly. You notice too much. It's hard not to when someone else's name is being printed on your work. Before I could answer, Charlotte's voice cut in. What are you two talking about? Gregory turned. Clean energy. Charlotte smirked. Please, this isn't a science fair. I met her eyes. True, but don't call theft an investment. The air froze. Then a man's voice called from the patio. Look at this! He held up the Austin Tribune. Front page, my face. Solara Innovation signs, $12 million deal with U.S. Department of Energy. Charlotte grabbed it. No, this has to be a coincidence. Gregory laughed softly. Unlikely. She's right here. My mother appeared in the doorway. Arabella, that's you? Yes. The same daughter you thought quit. Charlotte stammered. Why didn't you tell us? Because I never needed permission to exist. Charlotte's smile faltered. So that's why you came? To show off? No, I said, setting down my glass. I came because Mom asked. Truth just showed up uninvited. The music had stopped. Only the hum of the lights remained. Charlotte sank onto the couch. You hid this for years? I didn't hide it, I said. You never asked, my mother whispered. You did it all alone? After Daniel, yes. Charlotte's eyes burned. I spent my life doing everything right, and you just win with a headline? No one gave me anything. I chose what you feared. Because I didn't want to fail like you. Then maybe that's what failure really is. The newspaper slipped onto a candle and caught fire. Charlotte gasped, trying to smother it, but only ashes remained. It's fine, I said quietly. They've seen enough. The front door opened. A valet stepped in. Mrs. Langford, the cars are ready. Jeep's out front. Mrs. Winslow. He paused, eyes widening. Wait, are you the Mrs. Winslow from Solara? I didn't recognize you without the Tesla Roadster. The room froze. Charlotte's face drained of color. I smiled. Seems the light found its way in after all. The air inside had gone still, the party thinning into awkward goodbyes. I stood by the doorway, keys in hand, ready to leave. Charlotte kept smiling, shaking hands, pretending nothing had happened. Her laughter was brittle now, stretched thin over the truth. Outside, the driveway glistened with mist, headlights sweeping across the polished cars. I stepped into the night. The valet, young, clean-cut, name tag reading Eli, hurried toward me. Jeep Wrangler, right? That's me, I said. Charlotte followed with two of her friends and our mother trailing behind. Hope it starts, she said lightly, voice dripping with sweetness that cut. I didn't bother replying. Eli opened the door, then paused. Recognition flashed across his face. Wait, are you Mrs. Winslow? Arabella Winslow from Solara Innovations? The laughter behind me stopped. I didn't recognize you without your Tesla Roadster. I parked it at the Solara Gala in Houston last March. My son's on the scholarship you funded. He's studying energy engineering at UT. The silence that followed was so complete it seemed to echo. Charlotte froze. One of her friends whispered, Solara, the company from the paper this morning? Eli nodded, smiling with pride. Yes, ma'am, and this is the woman who built it. A murmur swept through the few guests still outside. Gregory Lang stepped forward from the shadows. Not just built it, he said. She designed the Helios Array herself, the one your investment company claims as theirs. Charlotte's color drained. You're the founder? Yes. And I am celebrating the work Daniel and I finished 12 years ago, I said. Every sound in the house seemed to die at once. The faint jazz, the idle chatter. Even the wind paused long enough to listen. My mother's hand found Charlotte's wrist. Oh, sweetheart! Charlotte jerked away, tears streaking her makeup. You planned this. You wanted to humiliate me. No, I said quietly. The truth doesn't need planning. It arrives when it's ready. Eli lowered his head respectfully. Mrs. Winslow, thank you for everything you've done. My son will always remember that doing what's right doesn't need an audience. He walked away into the light. The silence left behind was pure and heavy, the kind that ends illusions. I turned to Charlotte. You once said my Jeep ruined your perfect photos, I said evenly. Funny how it's the only thing that showed what's real. She sank onto the stone bench, shoulders trembling. The reflection from the lake shimmered across my face, light not from her chandeliers or cameras, but from the sun itself, steady and unbothered by who was watching. The night had gone quiet. The last guests had disappeared down the driveway, leaving only the three of us, my mother, Charlotte, and me, standing beneath the pale light that shimmered off the lake. The air was sharp now, carrying the chill of truth. No music, no laughter, just the sound of water brushing against the rocks. My mother's voice trembled first. You've kept this from me all these years? I didn't keep it from you, I said softly. I just chose to work in silence. You wouldn't have understood if I'd tried to explain. She flinched, guilt threading through her words. I thought you'd given up. I know what you thought, Mom. You don't have to say it. Charlotte looked up, eyes raw, her voice breaking. All my life, I tried to make her proud, the perfect daughter, the safe one, and now, all of it, this house, these parties, it means nothing because of you, the one I used to feel sorry for. No one told you to compete, I said evenly. You chose that. You defined my worth through her eyes, not yours. Charlotte swallowed hard. You make it sound so easy. It wasn't, I said. It just wasn't the same kind of hard you wanted. Gregory appeared in the doorway, ready to leave. Mrs. Winslow, he said politely. Congratulations. The board approved the new investment package for Solara. Big news. Charlotte forced a laugh. Any chance you're hiring PR staff? I happen to have experience. I glanced at him. If she's ready to learn what real communication looks like, we'll talk. Gregory smiled knowingly before disappearing into the night. My mother stepped closer, reaching for my hands. Her voice cracked with remorse. I was wrong. Arabella. I thought stability meant success. But maybe the ones who break patterns are the ones who actually build something that lasts. I squeezed her fingers gently. You don't owe me an apology. Just stop being ashamed of me. Charlotte stood apart, arms crossed, mascara smudged, her expression torn between anger and exhaustion. I don't want forgiveness, she whispered. I just want to know how you lived through years of being ignored. Because I learned, I said quietly, that truth doesn't need applause to exist. The words hung in the air, still and final. I walked toward the driveway, the crunch of gravel beneath my shoes echoing louder than anything left unsaid. The Jeep waited under the dim porch light, coated in dust, loyal as ever. I brushed a hand across its hood. Thanks for carrying me this far, I murmured. Behind me, my mother stood with her arm around Charlotte's shoulders. My sister's face had lost its mask. No charm, no defiance, just a weary kind of surrender. For the first time, she wasn't performing. She was simply human. And that, more than any revelation, felt like peace. A month later, the office was quiet except for the soft hum of the solar panels outside. Morning light streamed through the glass, scattering golden patterns across the floor. The internal board on the wall blinked with a new headline. Solara signs partnership with the U.S. Department of Energy. I sat back in my chair, the faint smell of salt air and sunlight mixing in the air. When my phone buzzed, an email from my mother. Come home for Thanksgiving, sweetheart. Charlotte's making pumpkin pie. Everyone wants you to bring one of your solar-powered desserts. I smiled at the screen, fingers hovering before I typed back. I'll bring dessert, and a little light, too. Outside. The sun climbed higher over Austin, its reflection warming the metal roof of Solara's workshop. I walked to the garage, the Jeep still waiting there like it always had. Loyal, scratched, and stubbornly alive. The engine rattled once, then settled into its familiar rhythm. The tiny Solara decal on the rear window caught the sunlight, glowing faintly like a secret I no longer needed to keep. The road unfurled ahead, wide and endless. I rolled the window down, letting the cool air rush in. The city faded behind me, replaced by open fields bathed in late autumn gold. As the miles slipped by, I thought about Daniel, his hands, his laughter, the way he used to say the sun never failed to show up, no matter how long the night lasted. I thought about Charlotte, too. The hollow anger, the quiet that followed it, and the message from her last week that simply said, "You were right about the light." Maybe healing didn't come with grand gestures or apologies. Maybe it came quietly, like dawn, slow and steady, until one day the shadows were just gone. The road curved toward Lake Travis, the same road that once carried me into humiliation and silence. Now it carried only peace. I used to think I needed their approval, I whispered, the wind swallowing the words. Now I just need my own. The sun broke fully through the clouds, flooding the windshield, blinding and warm. The lake appeared in the distance, glinting like molten gold. No laughter, no judgment, no apologies left to give. Only light, real, steady, and free. Fade out, the Texas sun blazing, the lake reflecting one old Jeep driving forward into endless light.